Good morning. Welcome. I just realized I was muted there. Hopefully you're having a good day this morning. My name is Tyler if you're here for the first time, and we're going to be navigating the world of futures. And we're going to be trading the Nasdaq, referring to ES, and it's going to be a good time. If you're here for the first time, we'll be doing that. Also, if you are watching this after the fact, you can jump to the key moments using the chapter markers below. And lastly, Apex has extended their 80% off sale. You're welcome to check that out as well. There'll be a link in the description and on the screen if you want to use the code DTJ. With that, let's go ahead and open in prayer, and let's cut out the fluff and get to the good stuff. Father, we just honor you and thank you for the opportunity we have to trade. Lord, I thank you that you've created us to be a reflection of you. And so, Father, I just pray that I am a reflection of you today in this live stream. And, Father, that you would bless those here. And, Lord, each individual would see increase, Father. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, let's go ahead and rock and roll. So we had news at 8:30. Here's the 8:30 candle. And very similarly, we have not hit the high or the low. Here's 8:30. So we're going to wait. That's right. We are not going to do anything until one of those levels is ran, because we saw what happened last time, and we're not going to make the same mistake again, and we're going to be patient. We're going to wait. And it looks like we might have a no opening range gap, and if we don't have an opening range gap, it could be a choppy morning. So we're going to sit here and be patient. Robert, it was a good prayer. It was a fantastic prayer. I just pray blessing over you guys. So it's going to be good. Is the yellow box the 2-hour fair value gap? No, it is the ORG. That is the opening range gap. So if I was to go down to the bottom of my screen and select the ETH, which is right off screen for you, but you'll see a regular hours icon or option pop up. So I select that, and the last trading time before the close of yesterday was at 4:14, and so this is anchored to 4:14, and we will re-anchor it to when the next candle shows up, and that's going to be right at 9:30. So I have it pre-loaded so I can drop it pretty quickly, so I have an idea how big that range is. And right here, I mean, it's almost nothing right now. So we have about 10 minutes before market opens. I'm just going to leave this here. But we are waiting for the data high or data low to open. I will tell you that since I've been looking and watching the 1-hour reversal model that I've been picking up and putting together, the Asia and London session is looking fantastic because they've played out beautifully. I'm just going to point this out here, okay? So here is candle 1, candle 2, candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3. Okay, candle 1 is the candle we want to sweep below. Candle 2, we want to have a sweep below the previous candle, as you can see right there. And we want to see a change in state of delivery on the 5-minute time frame. So we're going to drop to the 5-minute time frame. This is 4 a.m. So we have the sweep right here. Here's a 3 o'clock hour, and then we can call that a turtle soup because that's what it is. We have a turtle soup right here, sweeps the liquidity, and then right here we have the change in state of delivery on the 5-minute time frame. So now that we have the 5-minute time frame, we are waiting for the 5 o'clock candle, and you can do it on the 4 o'clock candle too, but let's just go to the 5 o'clock candle. We have the 5 o'clock candle begins right here. And we are looking for anything after 5 to sweep into a fair value gap or to a 5-minute fair value gap, and that is our entry. And it's right there. Look how beautiful this is. Here's our 5-minute entry, and then look how it expands. Look how that expands. Folks, this is wonderful. This, if we were just, let's just say we got a poor entry, and we got here, and we just went up to the first one, that's 87 handles. If you held past it to equilibrium, that's 116 handles. That model is looking fantastic. And it did it again earlier. Right here, we have a hourly sweep of liquidity at 7 p.m. There's our 8 p.m. candle. And so we're looking for a reversal. We're looking for our entry around 9 p.m. So let's just see if that played out. Okay. So we can, if there's a shallow sweep of liquidity, we can look for that. We can look for that reversal or that 5-minute fair value gap inside the 8 p.m. candle, but you can also do it in the 9. So going here, so here's so there's the sweep of liquidity right here. You can see that sweep. There's a 7 p.m. and then it sweeps right there. Just a tiny little sweep. Right at 8 o'clock. So there's a sweep. We're looking for a change in state of delivery. Our first change in state of delivery technically is right here, but we'll go down to this level here. And then we're looking for our first fair value gap. And our first fair value gap is right here. And that is at 9:30 p.m. See our 5-minute fair value gap. Entry. Expansion lower. Yes. Can I get my Bible? Sure. And there's the expansion lower. That expansion, let's just say you go to this level. That's 76 handles to the low there. 103 handles to that low. I mean, the moves are huge. The moves are absolutely huge. So getting on that hourly reversal is beautiful. That's it's Robert. It's an hourly entry model. I've been collecting some details from a few different traders. I would say the one that it's very similar to would be T-Trades. But it's looking great. It's looking fantastic. So I'm really liking the way that's playing out, that hourly, and would love to be able to participate in something like that. So here's our 8 o'clock candle. If we did the same thing, I don't like this as much. Why? It's a bigger wick. It's a bigger wick. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means we're coming up into the New York session and we have a lot more volatility. Also, we could see this 9 p.m. candle close over here and the 10 p.m. candle just do a tiny little wick above right there and run lower. That's a possibility. So every hour, at the top of the hour, you're going to want to look at and reference the hourly time frame to see if we have any reversal candles. What is a reversal candle? It is a candle that sweeps the high of the previous candle but closes inside the range. Inside the previous range, which is right here. Right? That's the previous range. That's the reversal candle. He doesn't talk about it at all, Ted. He doesn't talk about it at all. But if you watch enough of people's different videos, so I watch a lot of videos. Give me a second. I'm about. If you watch enough of people's videos, you start picking up little things, and when you do your back testing and back studying, you start recognizing these things. The other thing is, I saw when I go through different people's stuff, I saw other people doing it as well. Lumi Trader, I don't know her name. She also was doing something similar, and I'm like, well, let me just back test it and look at it more, and I started noticing that pattern. All right, so it's 9:26. What would you do? Would you want to do that outside the market hours, given the mass movement during? Yes, 100%. If the trade setup is there, I would take it, because Asia session can be traded, London session can be traded, the New York session can be traded. What's up, Jay Hung? How you doing, my friend? Good to have you. We're waiting for the data high or data low to be ran here, and we're sitting here waiting for that. My executions are going to be on this screen right here. Haven't done anything. But if we jump to the daily time frame here, daily time frame, we do have this daily fair value gap here that was mitigated. We have our previous week low. Why is that different? I'm going to get rid of that. That seems too bothersome. Small sweep of liquidity. We got 3 minutes till open. How big is this? It's still big. This is still 40 handles. The opening range gap is decent. The only trade that I will take prior to doing anything would be the 930 model. And I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I wish I just could wake up right at, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock and take these entries, because that would have been beautiful on the 5 minute. All right, market's opening in 30 seconds here. Okay, let's go ahead and mark our 930 price. You have no opening range gap. You should have one. It's now covered. So that whole opening range gap target is now gone, because it's been covered now. Now we technically can have permission to move higher, but we're not going to do anything. We're going to sit here and be patient and wait. We have a data high and data low that we are playing in between, and we could just consolidate and go back and forth in this area. So I'm not doing anything until we get out of this range. There's a little bit of a breaker right there if you think that we're going to run lower. Right there. But I wouldn't mess around with that. Inside of a range. Which is where 930 opened. I don't think that was the case, was it? Did I have that incorrect? I anchored the wrong side. Well, look at that. Did I take a trade based off of no information? I must have. I did. Well, I took the 930. Ah, man, sometimes ignorance is bliss, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll just leave that there for now. I'm going to shrink this up, though. Yeah, so small opening range gap, or non-existent, basically, meaning we are going to sit on our hands right now. There's a respection of that breaker, but we're just reading order flow, not taking anything. So we have mixed information here. I really do like this rejection and sweep of liquidity right there at the previous day equilibrium. But what I don't like is data high sitting right there. So when you're so close to that, I mean, I can't ignore it, especially with a data candle. You know what? Give it just a random candle, which that never happens. It's always a data candle. You know, I may have been more interested in seeing this as a key level, the rejection of that key level, breaker, and then a move lower. But even still, we still haven't hit that data low. So price action cleaned up later in the afternoon, or later in the day. Actually, basically when we got off and we're done trading, it started cleaning up. So we just need to be patient. And if we sit here and everybody wants to leave, I'll still be here sitting. I'll show you how I measure it. You can see it right in front of you. Okay, so I put this in, I dropped this, I made a new video, guys, in the Discord, for those in the Discord. I created a list of all my templates that I make that I use on TradingView. This is one of them. Okay, this is a Fibonacci tool, and I just drop it on the high and low of the previous day candle, so that's March 12th, and then I highlight the 1 level, the 0 level, and the 50% level, and then I name them, and then I save it. And so that's my daily. Right there, it's those green lines that aren't moving every time it's just sitting right there. So that is our previous day high, low, and equilibrium. That's how I find it. Now, if we have a giant wick, which we do, we have a larger wick, you can do another Fibonacci tool, and you can drop it on the midpoint of the wick. And so if we are going to see higher prices, what am I saying? What I'm saying is the resistance to this wick means we may see lower prices, either consolidation or lower prices. if we can get above the midpoint of this wick and find support, we're probably going to see the previous day high broken. All right, so there's our data low tagged. We have London low. We have two London lows, today's and yesterday's, that both have not been tagged. Some nice levels here for us to move lower. I need a reason to go short. Good point, Ted. There is not a first fair value gap yet. We'll mark that when it shows up. Yes, you can use this fair value gap as a point of significance. But because we are consolidating, we have a small opening range gap, and we haven't got our first fair value gap yet. I'm gonna sit. I'm still waiting. I want something nice. You could also see we're inside that hourly fair value gap too. So if we continue to find support there after this displacement of this candle, we may see higher prices. To me, that looks more probable than lower, if I'm honest. Higher context says it's either way, in my opinion now. We just got to wait for more information. Yes, there is a breaker right there. Doesn't look bad. But there's not a single fair value gap on the right side of that breaker, which I prefer a fair value gap or an order block, and we really don't have any good order blocks here. It's just a jumble of price action. That's right, Ken. It's inside that 1 hour fair value gap. So we close the hourly time frame in about 20 minutes. Oops. I would be all in on higher prices if we come, Ken, and we run these London lows, or run at least one London low, or tag the previous day low. I mean, this is a smaller range than what we've been seeing. It's still that. I mean, that's a big range. That's still 300 points. We still got a long ways to go. We got some room. We could still take this trade to the downside and it not actually hit the London low and still be able to get somewhere in between 130 points, 147 points. I mean, there's a lot of space here. Ted, did you take that breaker? 8:30. So you're going to jump JB. You're going to type in, so let me screen share here. If I go to Google and I type in FX calendar, I go to the calendar, and then you'll see the week's news. So today is Thursday, and we had news at 7:30, red folder news right here. March 13th, 7:30, red folder news. We want to see what happens to that candle. And that's what you're seeing right there. Potential fair value gap coming. Nope. That breaker's looking good. Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it either. I'll wait for something a little bit better. So I have a new phrase for myself. No reactionary trades, only anticipatory trades. No reactionary trades, only anticipatory trades. Meaning, if there's a nice setup that happens and I have to react to what I'm seeing, I'm not going to take it. I'm only going to take the trade that I can plan for and say, all right, here it is. This is what I'm looking at. All right, when it hits this level, I'm going to take the trade. That's anticipatory. Reactionary is exactly what just happened with this candle. Oh, look at that. Oh, no, it's coming back down. Oh, it's momentum. We're probably going to drop here. I'm going to go. They work. You can get in some great trades, but I'm going to skip those because I've hurt myself. Here's our first fair value gap, overlapping with midnight. Again, the breaker is right here. High, low, higher high. We ran lower, and we came back into the breaker here multiple times. Right there. So I'm taking note. I'm curious. Consolidation, and then you get your first fair value gap. Do we run? If we look back at past data and we look at the first fair value gap, if we get 15 minutes of consolidation, 15 minutes no fair value gap, and we get that first one, do we just run in the direction that it gave us the fair value gap? Because if that's the case, you could literally take an entry based on that. I guess this candle right here is what formed that fair value gap, so that's irrelevant. We did close above these up close candles on the 15-minute. We'll see if we can get that here in the next 13 minutes. If we close above this on the 30-minute, we have now an official order block and a protected high. We'll probably see the London lows taken. ES had a fantastic Asia session trade on the hourly reversal candle as well. It's looking really good. I'm excited about it. So I'll be poking around in the Asia session seeing if anything shows up, because I'm gonna try it. I took one Asia session trade based on that. I think on Monday actually I took one, and it was just a demo trade. It was a paper trade, but it played out. It was nice. I think I got like 50 handles on it. So I've seen it almost every day. Not on the same asset, not always on the Nasdaq, but on ES as well. We don't have a new day opening gap here today either, folks. We opened basically, it's just a line, and I really don't care about a line. I want a gap. If we get a full-bodied candle close, I'm considering taking a long on the inversion of this first fair value gap towards data highs. That's just a small idea. A lot of patience here, folks. Nothing taken yet. Hourly candle closes in 8 minutes. Look at that little sweep of liquidity right there. There's no way we would have participated in that. I mean, I'm not. We didn't even tag the first fair value gap. I guess we did. We did, didn't we? With that gap right there. Yep, I just included the volume imbalance. All right, so we're about 40 ticks away, 40 handles away from the London low. No 5-minute fair value gaps. We may have a 15-minute fair value gap sitting up here later. I think, oh, we could really drop. Look at that. That looks nice. That looks like the draw. So the question is can we get a part of it? Why does that feel like it's wrong? Oh, that's the equilibrium. That's the wick. Grab the first London low. Today's London low. We have yesterday's London low and previous day low still intact. I mean, that looks ready for it to just expand lower. So I'm looking for an inversion. I'm looking for a breaker to participate in that. This breaker, I just wasn't going to participate in this because it was inside all of this consolidation. I'll pass on that. This fair value gap tag right here was a mitigation block, not a breaker, so I didn't take that. I guess it could have been a breaker if you look at the data low. All right, so now yesterday's London lows tagged. Our last line of defense before it could drop further has just been tagged right there. It's the 4 p.m. candle from Tuesday. All right, Ted. Have a blessed day, my friend. Yeah, ES is tagging London low. It still has its previous day that it hit. It has not tagged though. So we could still see some price. We could still see price drop. Could get a retracement. We also are at 10 o'clock, which you could potentially see a 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. reversal. We ran all of this liquidity here before 10. Now we could get a little bit of something like that maybe. Liquidity at 19,195. That's some ways down there. Well, I mean, with all that we've been seeing in price action, we absolutely could do that. We could continue the sell-off. I'm going to take a retag of this level right here and see if we can continue lower. Nope, doesn't want to do that. $10 a.m. That candle right there is probably a potential low. We'll see if it wants to run it or not. I'm watching to see, can we get back above these levels here? 1, 2, and 3. To me, this is our resistance. If we continue to find resistance here, we may see lower prices. Five-minute was tagged. In the 10 p.m., we had a reversal. 1, 2, 3. We didn't get one there. So this technically is our first 5-minute fair value gap. It's a large fair value gap. I don't know if I want to test out that large fair value gap right now for continuation lower from the 8 a.m. wick or hourly reversal. Maybe if we fill more of it, I'd consider it. But I'm not going to take it right now. I'm going to take a rejection of this candle right here, right at equilibrium when we hit that level. I don't know why you can't see it, but it's right there. See if it can give me a reaction for 10 to 20 handles. I like this long right here too for this breaker. I'm going to take that long there off of that breaker. And I'm going to have my sell be at that candle's low where I was going to take that quick short. I'm going to see if it rejects at this level that I have here or if we can get through it. It's right at equilibrium. That's what I'm watching. See if we can get above this. Right there. Okay, we got equal highs here. I do not want to see it wick it and then come back down. I want to see it push through it. We could get a little bit of a dip here, unfortunately. I'm trying to allow for these wicks to take place in the Nasdaq. That's been one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with, is these wicks are 20, 30 handles. And so I have to reduce my size to be able to participate in that. I think I'm going to sit out. I'm going to let this come back down. I think it wants to. Came back down to the breaker. I'll look at re-entering this if I can. Probably somewhere down here. Honestly, we have a little bit of a breaker and order block right here. Gonna wait for a close above these down close candles to confirm the push higher. Oops. I just doubled the size there. Let's see if I can get out. That will be there. Now I'm going to get out of one of these. Buy side. Let's see. All right, one contract sold. I have the other one at this high right here at the data or the first fair value gap. So we have the first fair value gap sitting right here, and the low is 19,500. I'm going to move my stop to break even because I don't want to take the loss after I've taken profit. So I'll let it go to break even or to target. Remember that level, see where the blue line is right now? That blue line on my trading screen, execution screen. Come on, hit that level for me. I'm going to just go ahead and close that. I'm happy with that trade. Let's see if it runs to the level here or comes back down to this fair value gap. But see this candle right here? This candle right here. Remember how I said I was considering taking a short when we hit this candle right here? Look what it did, and it gave us 20 points. It retraced down to here. This is why when we went up to here and I got in for that long, I did not really worry about it running against me because I expected a retracement at this level. We should be hitting that level here. And there it is. All right, so it did go to target. We got out about 15 handles early. And that's gonna be our trade for the day. We're going to one trade. Well, technically, and I try to take a short here. That didn't work. I thought if we were going to see a continuation, it would be right here. But then we retraced. We hit the breaker, took a long at this breaker. Felt it was going to come down a little bit more, closed that trade in profit, and then once we closed above this down close candle, that's when we re-entered, confirming that this was a change in state of delivery for a long. That's how we got in that. So good win. Nice big trade there for 40 handles. We can take this inversion to the upside right here. We could take the fair value gap if it closes above it right there. We can take that long. And we could take it to the data high if we wanted. Data high is right here. So let's see if midnight open finds support. If this first fair value gap finds support, we did close through it. Or if it just collapses. Let's see if it finds support inside this. I like the idea of running for 930 and the data highs. I do. I use one chart marked the round number levels every 150s and then halves 25, 60, 70 that these levels is respected since many use them. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think they're key numbers like when people go, "Oh yeah, I want to go long at, 20,000 or I want to sell at 20,000." Yeah, I could see that. So the bodies have been respecting the fair value gap. I would like to see this expand right here. We are going to get a 5-minute candle printed here in about 30 seconds. Watching this level right here. Once we hit this swing high at 942, the swing high at 942, sitting right there before 930. Folks, I did get in that long. My stop's at break even. Data highs at 600. I'm just shy of it right now. Wanted to see if we can reach for it. But I'm gonna protect what I made here, and if it goes below here, if it goes into the fair value gap, I'll get out. Yeah, so I'll take it there. I'm fine with that. I don't need to get the whole win. I mean, that still was 40 handles. So we took a long based off. I took a long. I did call it, but I didn't call it, if that makes sense. We went long. I took the long based off of this fair value gap here, and I wanted to see if it was going to find support. So after the third time, I got long right here. We did run for this candle's high right here. You can see that right there. So once you technically run the high from a fair value gap, you need to move your stop to break even. So I decided to take profit just in case it wanted to retrace. It did retrace back into the fair value gap, but I mean, it's probably going to run to the data high. See what I mean? When you hit data highs, you have to move your stops to break even. So it looks like I'll be stopped out here. I would have been stopped out at break even if I didn't take profit. Yeah, I would have been stopped out, so I'm glad I took profit. All right, so there's a 5-minute fair value gap right there. It's a 5-minute breaker as well. You could probably take a quick scalp right here. See if it gives us a reaction. Yeah, it gave us a 10-handle reaction. We did come all the way back up to the breaker, this 5-minute breaker, and respected that 5-minute breaker right here. Here's a 2-minute breaker.
What?
Out, please.
Put your food away.
Out, please. No, I'm back on my stream. Get up. Yep. Go change your clothes and get some real clothes on, please. No, please go. Okay, I think I'm back. So I have a power source. All my electronics are backed up by a battery. And that battery, when the power goes out, everything can still run on that battery. Well, that battery has a setting that if it's not clicked, it runs off battery and doesn't recharge everything. And apparently it got unclicked. I'm not sure how. Or it just resets at random. So It reset. Which position are you in now? So we called out, I did call this little bit of a breaker right here, this 2-minute breaker, and I'm just sitting back down and looking at it. Looks nice. Played out nicely, but I didn't take it. I was occupied with power failure. But I don't know if I would have taken it, especially when I wanted it to run for these data highs. So if I'm a betting man, I expect this not to run lower. I would expect it not to run lower, but maybe find support somewhere around here and maybe continue higher. I don't know. Looks to be okay. You guys can all hear me okay, right? Okay, sweet, JB. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't looked at the 15-minute. What does that look like? Oh, yeah, I would agree with that, Cyrus. Nice rejection of that 15-minute. Let's look at the hourly. Let's look at the 4-hour. You know what? I bet you that 4 hours, I bet you that's where it is. Okay, so, oops, that's not the 4-hour. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, so here's our reversal. 2 a.m., 6 a.m. reversal. We're looking for a 15-minute entry for a fair value gap. This is the 4-hour reversal. So similar to the 1 hour, the 4-hour does it. So in this third candle, we got 1, 2, 3. We're looking for the 15-minute fair value gap inside or after 10 a.m. So if we go to the 15-minute fair value gap, here's our 15-minute fair value gap. There's our entry. And based on that model, we should see lower prices. So I agree with Cyrus on that. Looks really good. Let's see. When do you get in though? That's your question. I missed the 15-minute entry. There was a 2-minute breaker. What would this be? Sibby? There we go. Coming up on 11 a.m. I may look at taking a short. I'm done. I'm on an I'm going to be on an eval account now. I might look at taking a short at this fair value gap if we can get up there. Good morning, Lloyd. All right, so it looks like it might sell off right here. That sucks. Feel like I missed it. I wanted it to come up into this fair value gap, but it market maker sell model, you can see it running into that order block over here, this reclaimed order block. I don't know if you were on here earlier, Tony. Yeah, you were on here. The 15-minute fair value gap tag is what we were looking for. So since that 15-minute fair value gap, we've been looking for the sell-off. Let's see if it can. I think I would like it to reach higher, back up into that level, and see if it can reach back up into this level here. Wow. After that, I don't know if I want to do that. We'll see how this closes. If it closes, I may entertain it, but it's being aggressive right here. There's a 5-minute fair value gap right here. That's the only one there. I am going to take that. So we're going to see if that works or if it's going to continue to push higher. This whole area right here has been mitigated. We have a mitigation here. Where do I want that? Yeah, we'll do that based on this right here and see if it can sell off. This is an eval account. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And this will be my last trade. Stops at break even. Main reason is if we go above this down close candle, we're it's not in my favor, so I'll get rid of it. It needs to sell off from here if it's gonna go. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I mean, that was up 40 handles. And I don't want to retrace it because it is an eval account and I don't want it to put me in drawdown. But we are going to have 2 minutes before the 11 o'clock candle. There's a good probability that we run through this low here. Yeah, Tony, I know we ran the previous day low, but based on what I'm looking at, I think we're going to run through these lows altogether. And it probably is going to happen in the next 22 seconds where we run through these levels here. All right, there's 11 o'clock. Let's see if what does it do? Oh, the other direction. To me, that's a fake out. What this tells me is that we have time. Because what my analysis was based on a 4-hour candle, our next 4-hour candle isn't until 2 o'clock. So we could do this, stay beneath that 15-minute fair value gap, and then start run down towards 2 o'clock and do something like that. Either way, we took a trade off of that trade we took was an overlapping breaker and mitigation block right here. For 40 handles. But this is the type of price action that I just want to stay away from now. We're inside of a range. We're inside this range. We are refusing to make a lower low, and it could do some consolidation here. But I think that's what we're going to do for calling it a day, folks. Decent day trading. A couple things that I note is we remained way more for me, I remained way more patient. I had written down here no reactionary trades, only anticipatory, and everything that I took was anticipatory, where I placed a level and we took the trade. We waited for our key levels to be hit. The main key level was down here with our London lows that were here. And this sweep of liquidity down here. And it being right at 10 o'clock. I really do like when I see a big wick candle on the hour. Because it usually means we're not coming back down to tag it right away. Especially after you see this push away. So to me, this is a signature in price. A combination with a fair value gap. I'll call this a nail head candle. with another fair value gap on the left hand side. Makes this a BPR. Price comes back down into it, and this is where I took my long right here. We took that long there and we targeted this data high right here. I sold a little bit before the data high or data low. Sold a little bit before the data low. But that turned out to be a nice trade. That came out to be roughly $70 handles or so. So that trade alone could have called a day. That trade alone. But we remained patient there. We had some issues with technology here. But I really do like the idea of us going. So I'm going to keep an eye out of this for the rest of the day. Is from this 15-minute fair value gap, do we continue to sell off? Yeah, it can do all this stuff, but does it continue to move lower? And my expectation based on the 4-hour time frame here, we'll just go back to it, is right here, is we have a sweep of liquidity. We have the sweep of liquidity from the 2 a.m. candle to the 6 a.m. candle. Now on the 10 a.m. candle, we want to see it come up into a 15-minute fair value gap. And so on the 15-minute time frame, that's what we saw. We saw the 15-minute fair value gap right here and the 10-15 candle wicking up into it. So I want to see this 15-minute hold and at least run these lows down here from 10 a.m. That would be a target to see if it plays out. But that's the hourly and 4-hour reversal model that I'm referring to. And I'm still new at it, still back testing it, running the numbers on it. But it's been looking really nice. It's been looking really nice. It had a beautiful we had a beautiful hourly reversal right here. This no, it wasn't there. It was right here at this 5-minute fair value gap. You can see it right here. We had the sweep of liquidity up here. We had the change in state of delivery. We had the 5-minute fair value gap with the expansion lower. I mean, if I could have been up at, I don't know, where was I at 10:15? I was sitting on the couch. That's what I was doing. I was sitting on the couch at 9:15. That could have been a trade. Could have been a trade. Okay, folks, we're going to call that a day. Sorry about the glitch that we had earlier. We'll be back here tomorrow. So we're going to keep track of how many single trades we can take per day and count it as a win. So today is a green day. So green day number 1. We'll see if we can do that again tomorrow. Come back 9:15. We'll be here. Use the code DTJ if you use Apex. I'd appreciate it. There's the sell-off again. We never ran it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see if it runs. It's going to drop right here. It should run this liquidity right there. Pretty aggressively is my guess. See, what would be nice is if we got in up here at the 15-minute fair value gap, who cares what happens in here? We just let it play out and we target this low. Can you imagine that? What is that? What is the trade on that? That's 210 handles. My guess is we're probably going to see a bounce right inside this fair value gap. I would expect that, considering the time. So, all right, folks, I keep dragging on. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Stay safe. And there's a sweep. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.